Okay. Versatile vigilante, young Vince, Uncle Vinny, and we are here with a very, very special guest, a private chef, Mr. Todd Griffith.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me. Being
Appreciate you, bro.
interested in what I do.
I'm very interested in what you do. So we were talking a little bit before the show started. Never interviewed a private chef before. I've interviewed some chefs, know some chefs. Always very fascinated with that industry.
Cool.
But a private chef, very intrigued, man. So excited to learn a little bit more about you.
The secret world.
The secret world of private chefs. So I did a little research on you. I know you come from Ohio originally.
I moved here from Cleveland, yeah. I lived in Flagstaff for 15 years when I first moved to Arizona. So I moved there in 1998. And I lived there for 15 years before I moved to Seattle. Spent about 4 years up there, moved to Mississippi for about 3 years. And then after that, I came back to the Valley and kind of restarted life in Arizona.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Very cool, man. Was it something where you were looking for just a fresh start, or did an opportunity call you to Flagstaff originally?
I never really knew why I wanted to go there. I always just thought when I was young that Arizona was cool. And actually, I spun a globe at one point, put my finger on it, and I landed on Arizona. And that's where I decided I was going to move to. And the second I graduated high school, I threw everything in the car and I was out.
Good for you,
I had no
man.
idea what I was doing. I didn't have a place. I just went,
Young and free.
young and free,
That's fucking awesome,
doing
bro.
the thing.
Doing your thing. If it landed on Alaska or something, you think you would have went?
We might not be having this conversation.
That's amazing, man. That's I'm Canadian. I moved to Arizona a year
Nice.
ago, and that was something I always found really fascinating about the United States. People move around quite a bit
Yeah.
within their country,
Yeah.
and I love that because the country's huge, man. Like Ohio to compare to Arizona, it's like two different worlds.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely different. And it is a cool thing to be able to go to different places and have so many different landscapes that you can go and live here, and you want to go check that out, go head over there for a year or so. And it's been cool. I've been lucky to be able to live my life that way. It's never been easy, but
Yeah, you kind of sign up for maybe a little bit less security than most, but
Yeah.
maybe a lot more fun.
yeah. I mean, you try different things, and it's always kind of hard for me to dig into a place if you only go there for just a few weeks. If you really want to check a place out, it's kind of cool that you can just go live there, and if you don't like it, go live somewhere else.
No shortage of spots.
Yeah. It's
No,
very
that's
cool.
awesome, man. It's a great test for your mind as well of like, hey, I've done some things here. Can I do some things here?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Take your skills and put them in a whole different market. It's very cool.
Very cool, man. So were you a young chef in Ohio, or did that kind of start on your journeys?
I was. It's the only job I've ever had. I've been doing it for 30 years now, which is kind of wild to say.
Damn.
I never went to culinary school. I did a sort of a mentorship program my last couple years of high school where you had to have a job and you had to have someone within your industry that was willing to give you a certain number of hours of mentorship.
Okay.
And then during the morning, you would go to school, you do a couple classes that were sort of associated to whatever you were doing, and any projects you did for school were sort of along the lines of whatever your job was. And then after lunch, you would go to your workplace, sign up with your mentor, and they would kind of teach you whatever craft or position that you had chosen. I mean, you could do anything, but I had been a busboy for, when I was a little bit younger. And then as soon as I kind of saw what was going on in the kitchen, and I mean, you saw those guys and, back in the day, it looked awesome. They did whatever they wanted. They just, they were flinging pans and knives and fire and drinking pitchers of beer and smoking weed behind the restaurant. And it just is like hanging out with a bunch of pirates. And it was like, I want to do that. And I never really looked back. And
And here we are again.
here we are again.
I love that, man. A bunch of pirates. That's such a good analogy. You're right. Chefs are wild. Like there's been movies made about chefs, tons of TV shows.
You meet some characters. You're at least rich in that, and just you meet some wild people. And I mean, and every great close friend that I've had, that I still have in my life, I have met in that industry somewhere, be it in the kitchen or somewhere. So I think it's just an industry full of like just good people, people that care about taking care of other people, and it's given me a good sort of family over my career.
I can imagine, man. I've heard people. I'm not sure if you're a fan of Action Bronson. He's a
Familiar with him, but no.
Yeah, he's a rapper, but he was actually a chef before. And when you hear him talk about his chef days, it's like a true brotherhood, you know? Like
It
you
is,
see
yeah,
his eyes light up from that kitchen. So hearing you describe that is really, really fascinating.
yeah.
Very cool, man. So you were starting off in like McDonald's type spots or
No, I actually worked I started off at a pretty nice restaurant.
okay.
It was sort of a high end steakhouse with like a barbecue focus.
Okay.
So I got to learn a lot of like whole animal cookery and meat smoking and barbecue technique and a lot of like, grilling meats and big steaks and stuff like that, which really kind of, I think, formed the style that I have now, which is like the live fire cooking, the sort of farmer's market approach, and just sort of a more rustic sort of approach to the way that I cook food.
I love that, man. The cooking a nice piece of beef that sizzle, nothing like
There's
that.
nothing like it. Smells great, tastes great. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you were hooked pretty early.
I was hooked pretty quick. It didn't really take much. And, you know, I didn't doubt being a chef until many years later when when I was living and running restaurants in Seattle. That kind of pushed me to my limit. Just that downtown big city grind. I mean, I guess I'm sort of skipping forward as far as my
Go for it.
as far as my history goes.
We're not in
But
chronological order here. No problem, man.
but yeah, so I did hit my wall with it at one point, and that was probably about 20 years in to where
Wow.
I mean, you spend it's a great career. It's super fun. I've had a lot of fun doing it. It's never been easy. Long days. You don't see your family much. You never have weekends off. You work holidays. You sacrifice a lot, and you don't make a lot of money doing it. So that's definitely a hard thing. And I think when I kind of hit that wall, I didn't want to do it anymore at all. And during that time, I had an opportunity to go work on a farm. So I just like got rid of my apartment, split town, and I went and drove a tractor for 3 years. And
Wow.
I mean, I cooked food for myself, but didn't set foot in a professional kitchen. Didn't think about it. Only thought about the food that I wanted to make. My own little home projects or whatever I was working on. And yeah, so I did give it up for a minute, but like anything else, if you're meant to be there, it kind of pulls you back in.
I think that's an amazing story, man, because it shows like, yeah, you have passion, you love something, but you're a human first. You
Yeah.
know, you can get burnt out from things. I kind of took a year off from doing interviews last year for a similar reason of like, let's focus on myself right now, develop other sides of life. So I
And
definitely relate to
that industry is super famous for like
burnout.
burnout, and you have no safety net, you have no insurance. Take a mental health day, you'll probably get laughed at.
Right.
It's getting better, but when I was coming up, it was, I mean, like if you weren't grinding every day like that, working 6, 12, 14-hour days in a row, you weren't really killing it. And that was just kind of, I see how wrong that is now that I'm older and that, I'm not able and I don't want to do that anymore. Like I want to have a life and, have my mental health and all that stuff. So,
So important, bro. I mean,
yeah.
there's an old cliche on your deathbed. I don't think you're gonna wish you had worked more hours.
No,
You
no
know?
one's going to notice that, but everyone will notice everything you didn't show up for and all the times that you weren't there because you were working or
Yeah.
grinding or do whatever you thought you had to do.
It's so tough too, because when you're in it, it's like, yeah, let's just go. We're grinding,
Yeah, I
grinding.
mean
Like,
you're going like you've just got your blinders on, and I mean when you're focused and you're cooking and you have to get the job done.
yeah,
That's how it goes, and it's very easy to just live your life with your blinders on, and
it is. That's so
it is.
fascinating. I've heard people in so many different fields say that.
Yeah.
Now hear someone in the chef field say that. So it's really interesting. Did that 3 years refresh you?
In a way,
Yeah.
yeah. And it just kind of gave me a minute to kind of step back. I worked 30 hours a week driving a tractor, so it just kind of gave me some time to focus on some other things. I knew it wasn't permanent, and that was but it was a very secure, very stable situation at the time, and it just kind of gave me the space that I needed without having anything to worry about other than like just take some time to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
You're probably going to go back to the industry, but like, how do you do that? And when I finally did, I got back into catering. When I moved to the Valley, I didn't get back into the restaurant industry. I started working for the largest catering company in the Southwest, M Culinary Concepts or Michael's Catering, that just does the food for the Phoenix Open that just happened. I worked for them for 5 years, and then that started to lead me like more to the like that sort of started me with the private events, working for a
Right.
catering company. And then I started to realize that, while I liked doing the big events and the big parties and stuff, like I liked the more intimate gatherings, and the more I just started to kind of gravitate towards those smaller, more intimate, 8, 10, 12 person dinners, multi courses, lots of wine, nice plates. Like then I kind of started to say, okay, like this is where I want to go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that, man. It's you took time for yourself to strategize.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important, especially like we're talking about this fast-paced world, you can get lost.
Yeah.
So taking that pause in some ways, okay, a step back. It's not.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
taking a
yeah,
pause so you can
nothing
go
with just
forward.
standing and taking it all in for a second, kind of step out of the chaos for a minute and really just let life happen, because if you're grinding like that, there's probably opportunities passing you by and things that you aren't noticing. And it's nice to be able to have that space and be able to take that time
That's a
to
great
be able to
point.
see those things and think about, well, hey, what if I did this, or what if I tried this way? Because there's lots of different ways to do things and lots of different ways to have careers that don't necessarily involve sacrificing all your time and energy.
You're absolutely right, man. That's a really well said point of view on that. I
Yeah,
like that. Would you say your Seattle experience running the restaurant, you were owning it or running it?
I was running it for
You were
somebody
running
else.
it.
Yeah, I worked at two different places up there, and the second restaurant I worked at, I started as a line cook, and then within probably about a year and a half, I took over as executive chef. And one of those spots right in the middle of downtown, right on the Amazon Google campus. I
Mm,
mean, busy, busy, and fun. I had a lot of freedom to cook the food that I wanted to there. I got really into like the seafood and the produce and the food products in the Northwest are just it's insane. I mean, you're from Canada, you probably
yeah, I've been to
yeah,
Vancouver.
and
Beautiful.
it's just the food scene there is just amazing. So like very cool to be able to do that, to be able to work in that space, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Was
And yeah, it took a lot of it just took a lot out of me and then took a lot out of my personal life too.
because it comes with a tough. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. You pour yourself into the job, you take away from other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's impossible to do everything.
Yeah, you can't do everything. And sometimes you sacrifice one thing and for something else, and sometimes you don't know that you're doing that, but sometimes that's just the way it goes.
That's life, man. With going, you went from Flagstaff to Seattle.
I did.
I went to Flagstaff for the first time last year, and when I
Oh,
got
nice.
there, I thought it reminded me of the Pacific Northwest.
In a
Do
way,
you
yeah.
see that a little bit?
Yeah, in a way, it's got some similarities with like that high desert in Oregon for sure.
Yeah, the trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So when you went to the farm, where was that?
That was in South Mississippi,
Damn,
of
so
all places.
you're
Yeah,
literally going Midwest,
yeah.
Northwest,
I did like a
Southwest,
big figure eight
South.
around the country. Yeah,
Holy moly, was that a culture shock at all?
moving from the Northwest to the South.
Yeah,
Like yes and no. I mean, in all the sort of ways that you think it would be. I mean, super progressive and very blue in the Northwest, and
sure.
quite the contrary down in South Mississippi. But I liked it a lot. It was cool to have just, to live on, 300 acres and just kind of have a ton of space. And I had a garden and had some chickens and got some cats and just kind of hung out. So yeah, it was cool. And I was close to New Orleans too, which was and is my probably my favorite city in America, I think.
That's a food mecca.
It is a food mecca. It doesn't get much better than the food in New Orleans. So it was really cool to be like an hour and change away. So in the weekends I could shoot down there pretty easy, which was pretty nice.
Did you pick up on some Southern techniques?
Oh yeah, bought a
Yeah.
lot of cookbooks, went to a lot of good restaurants, and yeah, they've got their own thing down there. New Orleans is it's kind of one of those places where you go and you really feel like you're somewhere else, as opposed to going to a different city or whatever. You really feel like you've traveled when you go there because it's got its own thing, its own music, its own vibe, its own food, and it's just a really really cool place. Always been one of my favorites.
Love that. I haven't been there, but that's definitely on the list. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
You're inspiring me.
do it for sure.
So you mentioned too, it's like you kind of always knew you would get back into the game.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where it's like, all right, it's time?
Well, when the farm I was working on sold,
Okay.
I was it was kind of like, well, I had the opportunity to come back to Arizona. I had a spot to live and had a place to land, so that just kind of made sense at the time.
Sure.
And then, I mean, from that point, it's like, well, what else am I going to do? Driving the tractor wasn't the most lucrative thing that I've ever chosen to do in my life, but it was cool. But yeah, so I mean, I kind of knew it when I was coming back here that you're gonna have to do something, and then the just kind of fell into the catering thing, and then off we went again.
How long after catering did you develop your private chef business?
Um, Probably. I mean, I've had my own. I started my own company just this last summer at the end of like the middle to the end of July of this last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very, very proud to have that finally. Prior to that, I spent probably 3 years working for like different event companies and doing the smaller, more intimate stuff as opposed to the catering. And I did the large scale catering for like 5 years before I started to kind of move in the direction of smaller events, smaller things. And now I'm actually more meal prep focused, which has been another kind of pivot that I made.
I really admire the amount of pivots you've taken because
Yeah.
I think, man, I think a lot of the time, if you think about, oh my God, starting over or doing this, it's overwhelming. But
It is, and to say I've done that free of anxiety would be a total lie.
you're a human.
But I think you have to kind of be like that if you're going to be successful at anything. I mean, because nothing's ever going to be the way you think it's going to be. Nothing's ever going to work out exactly the way that you have it in your mind. So like if you kind of stay limber, keep your options open, be open-minded about what you have to do and the way you're going to do it, I think it benefits in whatever you're doing, whether that's just living your life or starting your own business.
Hell yeah.
You just have to be ready to make a move. It's not going to be easy. It might cost you something. You don't really know, but you just have to be ready to kind of zigzag when you're sort of thrown those obstacles.
Absolutely, man. That being agile, being flexible in those moments too, in those experiences, you gain so much, you learn so much.
Yeah,
And
it's
what
going to
really-
teach you a lot.
Exactly. You can't really replicate that in any way.
No, not in any
Got to
way.
go through it.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of just thrown into the fire and figure your way out.
Yeah, man. So is your business currently, what's the name of your business officially, by the way?
My name is Nopal Private Chef Services.
Nopal Private Chef Services. We're going to put that up on the screen. Is that your full 100% focus right now?
Yep, that's my complete and total focus. Like I said, I've made the move to meal prep, which I have clients that I serve on the same day every week, and I go to the house. I go shop. I go to the house. I cook all the food for the household for the week. Do a nice kitchen cleaning, nice little pantry organization, and then I head out. And I did that. as much as I like doing the dinner parties, as much as I like doing the events, it didn't offer me a lot of consistency. You'd be super busy one week with, you know, three dinner parties booked, and then you'd go 2 weeks with nothing. And it sort of, and the event game is kind of like that. It's almost like seasonal.
Yeah.
It has a seasonality to it, you know,
Especially here.
especially here. I mean, summertime, it's crickets,
Dead.
man. I mean, it's crickets, and that was hard doing catering too. That's also why I kind of started this other thing, because it doesn't matter who you're working for, big company, small company. Summertime, there is no events, and you know, when I was working for a larger company, it was a little bit easier. They could keep you employed to an extent. You weren't getting a lot of hours, but you could survive, you
Sure.
know. And so that sort of lack of consistency with the seasonality kind of got me going. And then sort of experiencing that same thing with the events where you'd go through these peaks and valleys of being super busy. And then, you know, that's as a business owner and somebody that's just trying to live their life and make money, that's really, it generates a lot of anxiety when
Sure.
you don't really know, you know, you just hope the phone keeps ringing, and you know you're doing your dinners and you're busy, and then it's very hard to deal with that lack of consistency and the up and down of the hours and the up and down of the money. So when it came time to do my own thing, I actually found another chef on Instagram who's based in LA, and sort of looked at what she was doing and found out she had a coaching program that sort of would teach you how to build this sort of meal prep business model, and sort of take a little bit more control of your life and have some like consistent weeks, consistent work, consistent hours. And that's something that in all the years I've been cooking, I've never had any of those things. So that was really attractive to me. And I said, well, like, you know, looking at that on paper, going, man, I want that. I want to work 35 hours a week and have weekends off and be able to take a 3 day weekend and travel and be able to make really decent money doing it. So I really buckled down. I spent about probably 6 months working my way through her coaching program, and it teaches you to build it from the bottom up. You know, you learn how to do an LLC, learn you build your own website, you do all, you know, learn how to do all your own marketing and advertising. It was really really helpful, and I learned a ton doing it. And yeah, at the end, that sort of landed here where I really have a great schedule. I work Monday through Thursday right now. I have 4 different families that I work for. I go to work from probably, I land at the grocery store about 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm home by 3 in the afternoon. I get consistent work every week. And if I want to do dinner parties, which I still do, I have all the weekends open to do this. So it's not something I'm relying on. I do the dinner parties because I really want to, and that's sort of my creative outlet. And the meal prep just sort of keeps the bills paid consistently.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations, bro. That's
thanks.
fucking inspiring.
It's been a lot of work, but it's pretty cool to like. And I mean, I've been doing it. It's you know it's you know you got to find the right families that are going to kind of fit within what you do, and you know about 6 or 7 months in now, I'm lucky to have found. I got the space open for one more, but I'm lucky to have found just a good group of people that value my service and value what I do. And yeah, hopefully it's changed their lives, and you know having all their good clean food prepared for them makes things easier. But like, and that's something they don't probably know is how much they've changed mine too, and sort of given me a consistent schedule and sort of given me my life back.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, which
That's
is really
beautiful.
cool.
Just met you, but I'm very proud of you.
Cool. Thanks.
That's amazing
I
stuff,
appreciate
man.
that, man.
No, because I mentioned it a little bit. Like this platform, that's what it's for. It's for, you know, a journey. It's for growth. It's for
Yeah.
expressing, you know, we've had so many challenges, but we're still going.
Yeah.
And as we keep going, we uncover new cool shit,
Yeah.
you know? So I love that. That was an awesome story, man. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Cool.
Love that. With the families you mentioned that you're cooking for, What's the kind of consistent match? Nutrition? Are they? Is it like why would they reach out to you?
I'm sort of focused on like the really busy professionals.
Okay.
I tend to, I my service is more has what I would say is probably a luxury price point. I charge $90 an hour right now to do what I do, and then I have a 6 hour daily minimum.
Okay.
So regardless of whatever you need, I get 6 hours worth of work, and they're all really different. I work for a couple that owns a really or owned, they just sold it actually, a really big internet advertising company. So they're super busy. They got a lot going on, tons of employees, 3 kids. They're super busy, and but they value clean food. They want
Yeah.
they want to eat out every day, and so it's mostly clients like that, I think.
And you go to the house and cook there.
I go to the house and I do everything in the home.
You do all the grocery. You bring the groceries. You chef
Yep.
it up from
Yep.
raw to cooked.
First stop is the grocery store, and then I go straight to the home. Sometimes they're home, sometimes they're not. And then I'll just spend the day working in some really beautiful kitchens,
Fuck yeah.
which is pretty nice. Um, yeah,
That is
and
some cool shit, man.
yeah,
And you cook like a week's worth of food, something like that.
yeah. They typically like the freedom to go out, to go out on the weekends or
Sure.
whatever. But it sort of model is to get you through about 5 days. So I'll do like a couple breakfast options, a couple snacks, 2 to 3 lunch options, 2 to 3 dinner options, and package that all however they want it, whether that's in like portion containers or big pans or whatever, and get everything wrapped up and get the kids' lunches packed for the whole week. And so yeah, it gets the general family of 4 to 5 through probably 5 to 6 days of the week with food.
Man, what a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Investing in your health, investing in yourself. Like even when you mentioned using a coach, a
Mhm.
lot of people would have been like, fuck it, I've been in the game for 20, 30 years. I know everything. No, man, there's
No.
always someone you could learn from. And if you put the effort in,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
there's a
And
payoff there.
yeah, and doing that whole program. I mean, and I've owned businesses. I've owned restaurants. I've had partnerships in restaurants and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I kind of did that building from the bottom up where I realized everything that I didn't know, and once you kind of get into it and do it the right way, you kind of see why people. I didn't want to be one of those stories where you started and you stopped,
Yeah, let's see this
but
through.
because you hit those walls, you hit the things you don't understand. And I think that the coaching program really helped me of you know to know all those things and to be able to learn all those things, and not have an ego about it,
Yeah.
and you're just not say, well, I've done this before and I know everything, because you don't. Times change, things are new, there's different ways of doing stuff, and it was a great system. It was a great program, and it really, really worked well for me.
Amazing, man. What's the name of the coach?
Her name is Chef Tiffany Thomas.
Shout out to Chef Tiffany Thomas. Legend.
She's a legend in my
Love that.
world, anyway.
Hell yeah, man. No, that's super good stuff, man. Very inspiring. That helps me keep going.
Yeah,
So thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it.
of course.
You did mention you have owned restaurants before. Would you say that was maybe the most stressful of your endeavors?
It was up there for
Yeah.
sure. I owned one. I had one in Flagstaff. In Man, when did we end up? We ended up with it completely by accident. We were all working there. Myself, one of the other kitchen guys, and then one of the servers at the time. The guy that we all worked for, he had maybe owned it for a year, and all of a sudden he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. But we kind of wanted a place to work, so we kind of pooled our money together and gave him enough and convinced him to let us have this place.
Okay.
We had no idea what we're doing. I mean, we were like 25, 26 years old. Absolutely ridiculous. Like it none of us should have had that level of responsibility at that point. But somehow we did. Somehow we figured it out. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was hard. There was, and we wound up losing the business during the recession
Okay.
because we had no. So like in 2008, I think we sold it. I mean, we never had a backup plan. We just went to work every day and just made food. And I mean, we got by. We did it for like 5 years. I mean,
It's a good stretch.
we were doing something kind of right, maybe. I
Yeah, man.
don't know. But yeah, I mean, we had no cash reserves. We had no way to get through. We had no rainy day fund or any way to get through any kind of hard times. So as soon as hard times hit, we went down, I mean, fast and hard. But it was kind of wild because when we had first bought the restaurant from the guy that we were working for, there was another guy in town who was trying to buy it. But the gentleman that we bought it from was just like, no, I want to give this to the employees. I want them to have it. And we never really heard or saw. I mean, I was familiar with the guy. He was another chef in town. So like I knew him. I knew who he was. But we never really heard or saw him over the course of our ownership. And when it finally became abundantly clear that we were not going to be able to make it financially and that like we were going to have to close, out of the blue, he contacted me again and asked if we still wanted to get rid of the business. And, I ran him through the whole story. Like, the plane has crashed into the mountain. We're done. And he wound up buying the place. And I mean, we skated out with a little bit of debt, but considering with like what we had versus what we would have had if he hadn't come along and taken the reins on the whole thing, it made it way easier. We didn't have to file for bankruptcy. We didn't have to, it was enough to figure everything out because we had made a complete mess of it. Like I said, we were just young and stupid and had no idea what we were doing. But that was a real lucky break because, like I said, I mean, we had some issues, but considering what could have happened if that sale hadn't come along, it would have been a very different story. I'd probably still be paying for it. But yeah, so it was very stressful, but that was also a really huge learning experience, especially in the realm of like things that you don't know. Like,
Oh yeah.
you have no clue how to run a restaurant. Don't know how you got away with that for 5 years. And
Hey
it it,
man.
en- it ended, but it ended, way less of a mess than it could have been. So thankful for that.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm sure within those 5 years you lived a lot of life at
Oh,
that time. So
that might be for a different podcast. Yeah.
oh man. No, it's crazy, bro. The experience and the learning and the lessons, you can't have that without the stressful
No, you,
anxiousness. It's both. It's
you got
hand
to
in
swim in
hand.
it, or
Yeah.
you don't understand it.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's really true. And you come out, I've always believed you come out stronger for it.
Eventually. Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Not unscathed, not without
Yeah.
bruises and
And broken things. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
You'll be okay.
you'll be okay.
You'll
You're
be
tough.
okay.
You're
Yeah.
tough. That's fucking amazing, man. I was looking through your Instagram a little bit, and you have very, very visually appealing plates.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was, you have quite a few different styles, which I saw like in like an Asian influence a little bit in certain dishes.
I do like my Asian food for sure.
Has that always been there for you?
Yeah, I think that's kind of always been one of my favorite sort of genres of food. I've always loved going to the Chinatown, especially when I lived in the Northwest too. I mean, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, best ones. San Francisco's pretty good too. But yeah, I have a pretty strong Asian influences in my cooking in some certain ways. Yeah.
I love Asian food, man. I mean, you're probably not gonna find many people who don't, but just
Yeah,
that
I don't think we could be
versatility.
friends if you
No,
didn't.
like
We're
there's
definitely
just
not going to dinner. Yeah.
no, and there's so much. There's so much, and those I enjoy going out for those dishes because there's usually a vibe at a lot of those places
Oh,
too.
yeah, yeah.
More the hole in the wall places is
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm into.
Hole in the wall places are the best.
Yeah,
The best.
gotta have some holes in the seats or something like that. That's when you know it's really good.
But we are getting the Din Tai Fung soon. So that's going to be good. You've been to one of
No,
those, no?
never.
The Taiwanese dumpling place
No,
that's like has the Michelin star, and
no way. It's coming to Phoenix.
yeah, they're opening one down at Scottsdale Quarter, I think, this summer, and I
Sick.
think they're opening another one. I can't think of where the other one's going to be though. Maybe close to the university, so you might be in luck. But
Sick.
yeah,
I'm gonna,
insanely good. One of my favorite restaurants on the face of the earth for sure.
ooh, I'm ready, man. I gotta start saving now.
Soup dumplings, man.
Love dumplings. But yeah, you know, the presentation is on point. Was that a thing? I'm curious. Was presentation always a thing when you were coming up as a chef? Because from outside looking in, I hear more about it now. Maybe I'm just paying
I
attention now.
mean, yeah, food didn't look the same when I first started cooking. You know,
Right.
there was a lot of like the little lemon twist and the little sprinkle of basil or parsley, and that was kind of how you garnished. You know, maybe a little red pepper or whatever. But you know, I think the more we've gotten into, you know, that visual sort of social media culture and everybody taking pictures of everything all the time, I think food has sort of had to. I mean, you eat with your eyes first, you know. So I think it's had to sort of make that sort of change, you know, to you know with the to have the better visual appeal. And one thing I learned from another great chef that I had the pleasure of working with was like, I mean, when you're thinking about things like that, is to draw your dishes. And he was really big on, you know, getting your pencils out, because it's very hard when you're in the moment and you're cooking and you're trying to put something on a plate to kind of know what's going to happen without having done it or without having a picture in your mind. You know, you can't. I think it really changes things when you sort of have it. You have a model, you know, and you can kind of say, well, this is going to go here and that's going to go here, and then we're going to put a few of these there, instead of just trying to throw it, you know, and sort of paint with a plan as opposed to just kind of put it on the plate. You know what I mean? So the drawing and that sort of visual manifestation before I actually do it has sort of become a bigger part of the way that I think about food and the way that I think about the finished product that I'm putting in front of people.
You know, I never would have thought of that, and now I'm thinking about it. It makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah.
You're an architect,
Yeah. If you're going to build something, you don't just buy wood and just
right?
start nailing it together. You
Put
know,
a
you have
blueprint together.
yeah, you have a blueprint, you have an idea. This is going to go here, that's going to go there. What if I put that there? And then it allows you to play with it a little bit more than, you know, and then it's a lot smoother in the moment too. You
Yeah.
know, I've done a lot of dinners. I've helped a lot of other people with dinners, and you know, if you have a clear cut plan, a clear cut, like you said, blueprint, like everything is just so much smoother. Something you can show everybody. This is what it is. This is the way it needs to look. I think that makes a big difference.
That is so
And
cool,
the more
man.
you look, you know, and then it's that subconscious level too. The more you're working on it, drawing it, that's all other things are happening, you know, in your mind too. It's kind of getting in there.
Gets the artistic juices flowing a little bit, the creative side of
Exactly.
the brain.
Yeah.
I've always felt I like to cook very basically. You know, I'm a single guy.
Yeah.
You know, do what I got to do. But I've always the thing I like most about cooking is that you can try different shit. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's experiment a little bit. So that's why I
Yeah.
always kind of related it to like painting or drawing, like
Yeah.
experimentation.
Yeah. Yeah. You can always change it up. You
Yeah.
know, throw a little bit of this or switch this for that, and
You
it's
have
very cool.
you have a dish that you're really favoring right now cooking, or even a style, or even for the home cooks, the private stuff.
That I'm really cooking a lot right now. I've got this, man, I can't think of the Chinese name for it, but it's like this, like Chinese red beef
Okay.
is sort of what it's called, but it's very similar. It's got similar to like the flavors of pho, you know, with like the anise and the cinnamon, but it's more like those spices like cooked with a pot roast, and then you sort of throw in some like root vegetables and potatoes, which you don't really see a lot in Chinese cooking. I mean, maybe some in like the hot pots and like certain regionalities and stuff like that, but so it's sort of like an almost it's almost dry by the time you finish cooking it, and all the vegetables kind of suck up the broth, you know? It's this sort of like almost dry sort of beef stew, but the beef's super moist. Maybe this sounds totally weird,
Oh, bro, I'm getting hungry.
but yeah, I've been making that like regularly lately, and it's just I can't get enough of it.
Hell
So
yeah,
yeah,
man. Hell yeah. That's one of the best things I could imagine about cooking. You get to eat your final product. I mean,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, for sure.
What more can you want?
I couldn't ask for anything more.
That's so funny, man. Also, I just thought it was cool. I saw you create your own kitchen utensils. Like I saw you carving spoons, stuff like that.
That was something I got into when I was living on a farm or
Very
living
cool.
on the farm. Yeah, I got into the like old Welsh style of wooden spoon carving, which has a pretty wild history that I studied up on it, and it was really just a matter of during certain times of the year there wasn't a lot of work on the farm, and it was a grass farm. So, there's certain times of the year people buy grass and do their lawns. There's a whole nother part of the year where they don't. We spent a lot of that time cleaning and cutting down trees and doing firewood and stuff like that. And there was all this free, I mean, and all kinds of stuff, oak and cherry and pecan wood and all this stuff. And we were just cutting down all this stuff, all these different kinds of, and I was like, there's got to be something I can do with like all this wood. And did that definitely heavily influenced from like Instagram. And you saw these, I think I followed some guy in the UK. I can't think of the name off the top of his head, but he had written a book about, it was called The Urban Woodsman was the name of the book. And it sort of ran you through how to make these, just a few simple wooden utensils, cooking spoon, eating spoon, spatula, from just like random scrap wood using an axe and two knives. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Gave it a shot, made a bunch of weird bent backwards little spoons that went the wrong way, and but I had a great time doing it. And so that really kind of sucked me in when I wasn't obsessed with food. It kind of kept my head in the kitchen because I was making kitchen tools, and I did some farmers markets with them. I sold probably 100 or so of them online.
Damn.
I had like a little Etsy store, so it just kind of just kept me in beer money. It was kind of enough to like to buy some nicer tools, which I still have. I'm sorry to say that I haven't carved, and I think I made like one spoon last year. It's just, it's a very slow, very time consuming thing. And like I had all the time in the world to get into it
Right.
when I was just kind of sitting outside my little, sitting on my patio. But I want to get back into it one of these days. But yeah, I did go through a fun little phase of,
That is cool, man.
yeah,
When I was just looking at it, to me, it's like, no, is like a stamp of a great chef too. Like learning everything about the craft, the tools that you use,
yeah.
crafting your own tools. Like, come on, man.
And it's pretty cool when you take your knife roll out and people
Hell
are like,
yeah.
"Oh, your spoons are awesome," and you're like, "Yeah, I made those."
Fuck yeah, man. I'm very big into that, like custom. I
Yeah,
love that
yeah,
because there's a lot of fast fashion these days.
yeah,
Amazon, you get anything, whatever.
yeah. But it doesn't have that
There's
connection.
no
It doesn't have that.
the character.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some really nice wooden, really nice looking wooden spoons on Amazon or whatever, and probably any other number of places. And they would probably be significantly cheaper too than the ones you buy. But there are some people out there that make some really beautiful things, and really anything like that, from like wooden spoon to like cutting boards, coffee mugs. Just like I like to have those things that I use every day, that I have that connection, that I know, maybe I even know who made that. I have some really cool pieces from when I was more like involved in that sort of like social media world of the wood carving. And other people that made spoons send me theirs, and we would trade. So I have a really cool collection of all these spoons from all over the United States, and that I know that those other people have my work in their kitchen. Like, that's just kind of cool to me. And I really, and I, if we were at my house, I could go down the wall and tell you the name of every person that made every spoon that hangs on my wall. And that to me is really cool, because it might not be anyone that I even communicate with regularly, but just having that human connection to that object is really cool to me.
Bro, I completely agree. It's very cool to me as well. We might have to do a part two at your place. Go
Yeah,
over the
yeah. We
spoons.
could do the
That's a
spoon tour
nice
for
little
sure.
idea, man. But no, I love that, and I completely agree because yeah, if the answer is always just cheapest and most efficient,
Yeah,
it gets boring, man. Like,
yeah.
where's the
It's
spice?
got nothing to it. It doesn't have any substance.
Nah, man, you gotta fuck around a little bit.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
I love that.
most
I love
definitely.
that. So, you were also, congratulations again, you were named one of the top 30 private chefs in Phoenix. Is that right?
I was actually the third on the list of 25 this year in the Soelish Phoenix magazine, which
Massive.
was really cool.
That's amazing, man. How did
Yeah,
that feel?
it feels pretty good when your peers and everybody in the community is kind of recognizing what you do, and they take the time to go and put in their vote for you, and I mean that means a lot. That means a lot.
Approval and acceptance, it's one of those things like you can't do what you do just for approval and acceptance, but when you get some,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
nice. You know.
You got to do it for yourself. You got to
Yeah.
walk your own path. But when people start to recognize the work that you've put in and really start to see you, that really kind of like lights a fire behind you too, because you're like, okay, this is working. Like people are noticing it. They're into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was the second year I'd made that list, which was pretty cool. So
Congratulations, bro. Did you feel that not jump started, but helped you level up a little bit?
I maybe I don't know how much I really got from it, business wise, but I think just that sort of boost, like you were talking about, that
Yeah.
that people see you, people actually like I'm gonna go on and vote that this guy's actually a legit chef,
Yeah.
like that's cool.
Very cool, man. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Your path has been really, really interesting and inspiring to hear about. So,
Cool.
absolutely, man. We're actually approaching about an hour, and a question that I wanted to ask you before we wrap things up: if someone, maybe coming out of school, they want to get into the world of being a chef, they came to you for advice. Is there some specific advice you might give to them?
That's tough. I mean, part of you is almost like choose something else, but
Which is real too. What
yeah.
would it be mainly because of the hours and like the
Yeah,
lifestyle?
that would be the old me sort of talking like that. The old cynical chef answering the question, which we don't like to listen to that guy. He's kind of full of it. Um, that's hard, man. I mean, just sort of s- not necessarily stick to what you know, but like just find your path and stay focused and never be afraid to ask your peers for help or to go seek out, and that's from anything, from like starting a business or moving into a certain facet of business, or like just some simple kitchen task, like just sort of ask for help, stay your path, stay focused. And I guess to come back to like the blueprint, like take your time to make your plan. Don't jump into a kitchen and just say, I mean, you can if you really want to just, get into it, but like go into it with intent. I think would now that I can revise that a little bit, like yeah, have some intent with what you're doing, and just if you're gonna stick with it, have a plan, know how you're gonna move forward, and don't ever be afraid to ask your peers how best to do that.
Do it with intent. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I think again that's applicable to pretty much
yeah,
any
I think
industry.
so. Yeah,
That's amazing, man.
yeah, just know where you're going and have an idea. Your idea is gonna change, your plan's gonna change, but have have something that you hold on to
Hell yeah.
that sort of pulls you forward, and don't ever let go of it.
Love that, man. Very, very wise words.
Thank you.
And Phoenix, you plan to stay in Phoenix? You've moved around quite a bit. How you
I've
feeling
moved.
now?
I've moved around quite a bit. I've been here. It's crazy. I've been here for like 6 or 7 years now. Um, I don't really want to move again. I've got a pretty good situation, and I'm just absolutely loving having my clients and just enjoying life here. And I love Arizona. Like it, all the years that I was gone from it, I always was just waiting for a sign that I had to come back. So I don't think I'm going to be leaving anytime soon.
I love that you said that, man. Like I've been here for a year. I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be a tough place to leave one day, you know,
It is.
if have
Yeah.
to. So
Driving out of it when I first left for Washington was rough. Like it didn't feel right. Maybe it wasn't. You know? But I did it anyway.
you got back here.
But yeah.
Yeah, that desert, man. That desert is there's some
It's
spiritual.
cool. There's something about it, man. There's something about it that just it pulled me in, and it still has me here. So
Feel that for sure, man.
I'm
And
here, man.
love that. Last question for you. I lied. One more question.
Okay.
Outside of food, when you're trying to relax these days, what's a day in the life of Chef Todd? What's an ideal Saturday?
I do lots of hiking.
Okay.
I have a big dog.
What's your favorite hike, by the way?
Ooh, I like going up to Cave Creek. It's a little bit more in my neighborhood, but up in like the Spur Cross area
Haven't been there. Got to
is
check
really
it out.
cool. And there's a little spot when you almost get to Spur Cross called Jewel of the Creek,
Okay.
which is a cool little canyon. Really, really small hike, kind of a little localized area, but I mean, it's almost like a little rainforest down in there. It's pretty wild.
No fucking way.
Pretty
Maybe I'll
cool.
do that this weekend.
Um, I do lots of yoga with my lady, and
Nice.
yeah, hang out with the dogs, cook food at home,
Keep it chill.
keep it chill, man. I'm a chill guy. I'm a pretty chill guy.
Love that, bro. Anything you'd like to promote? Anything you'd like to plug for yourself before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. If anyone out there listening knows anybody that's looking for a Thursday spot for meal prep, reach out on Instagram. Yeah, if you always happy to to have people follow me and check out what's going on. I've got some cool dinner parties coming up where I'm going to be doing some fancier stuff over the next couple months. So just little small, very wine forward dinners. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, I get some good content, and I've got some really cool menus lined up for those too.
Sick. And are those parties typically like ticket based, or is it do you have to know someone? Kind of
Those
asking for myself because it sounds awesome.
that's actually something that I've thought about. The ones that I have on the books are for private clients, and they're
Right.
sort of their friend group, so not anything that anyone would be invited to. But I've kind of toyed with the thought of a ticketed pop up, and it's becoming a little bit more possible. I don't know when that's going to happen,
Hell yeah.
or where, or how, but it could happen.
That's all I
It
need.
could
I'll
happen.
be there.
I'll definitely. You'll be the first to know.
Fuck yeah.
For sure.
Love that, bro. And what was your social medias again so people can follow you?
I am on Instagram at Chef Todd Griffith.
Chef Todd Griffith. Appreciate you, bro. It
here.
was an awesome conversation. Very inspired by your story.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy this conversation. I wish you all the best with your business
Thank you
and
so
with
much.
life in general.
Thank you so much.
Versatile Vigilante, man. Arizona, we're out here.
Thanks, man.